welcome back to the In Between podcast. We have our crew here again for a new episode. If you haven't listened to the other episodes, where our student crew is leading it and really having a great time on our podcast, feel free to go listen to those other episodes. But today we have
Brandon,
Carson.
We have Smeagol.
What was that? My name's Morgan. I didn't mean for that to come out.
Wow.
Was that a dog bark? What were you trying to do with that?
I don't know what that.
She's on her edgy side.
Yeah, that's definitely like it's a growl.
We just had snacks. We just had a couple of like snacks with like Welch's and granola bars, so we're hyped up on sugar right now.
He had like 10 packs.
Yeah.
Hey, these are good.
If you have Welch's fruit snacks around Brandon, he's gonna take them all.
Yes.
Run for the hills.
Hide them from Brandon. But yeah, so we had a great episode last time. We talked about peer pressure. So if you haven't listened to that one, go back and listen to it. But we're back today talking about family. We are family.
Boom, boom. Go everybody.
There we go. Thanks for following me on that one. But yeah, so
We should have came in on that.
Yeah. I don't know if we have the rights to play that song.
Oh, yeah,
we might have to
you're
play
right.
royalties or
You
something.
Or you could play like the
Sued.
instrumental.
We could.
Or we could
Because
just
I feel
like,
like the beginning is like.
yo, we really could just acapella it.
Or I
Yeah,
could just
okay.
sing it. Like
Go
I'm
ahead,
pretty
Ryan.
good singer. We are family.
We're gonna-
Sing
we're
it
gonna-
there. Sings, yeah.
Go ahead,
Awesome.
rap it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what y'all
It's like,
talking about.
we are
Great.
family.
What a great
was
rapping that was.
Thank you.
Really,
appreciate
I was in tune with the deep stuff you were saying.
About family or about rapping?
I don't know.
All right. Well, we're gonna get started with this episode with a fun question. What is a weird thing that your family does that's like a thing that's unique to your family? Like a tradition or an inside joke, maybe?
Okay, so I actually have. Sorry, I didn't know.
You good.
I actually have a really like kind of random one, and it's gonna take a little bit explaining, but it's kind of funny. So my mom and my dad both have nicknames that like I'm pretty sure like everybody that's considered family is in on, like
Okay.
like our whole family, and then like all of our family friends and everything. So my mom's nickname is Mabel. Her real name is Mandy. My dad's nickname is Paul Blart. His real name is Darren. Okay, so
Firefighter Paul.
my mom.
Paul
the reason,
Blart, like the mall cop?
Yep.
That's
Okay.
amazing.
So my mom got her nickname from when she worked at her old job. A lady called to complain about her because she was like one of those Karen ladies and just had an issue with everything. And
Shout out to your mom.
Yeah,
She's
thanks,
a
Mom.
Karen.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the lady
Oh,
who
the
called
lady.
about her.
Okay,
Not my
I was
mom,
about to say,
not my
man,
mom.
you're throwing your mom on the
No,
bus
no,
like
not
that.
my mom.
My mom's a Karen.
No, mom's a Karen, guys.
No,
You can
the other lady
attack
was a
her
Karen.
on
Okay,
whatever.
good.
Yeah. And so she's calling to complain about my mom, and she mixed up her name with Mabel, and we were making fun of her because Mabel's like an old lady name.
Yeah, it's such an old
No
name.
offense to anybody who's named Mabel.
All
But
the grannies
like,
out there, if your name is Mabel. It's a beautiful
Granny
name.
yeah, we love it. But but we were making fun of her because like the way that my mom dresses sometimes is the most like old lady thing I've ever
gosh.
seen. But she tries to make it like hip at the same time, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what is this?
Hip?
So it just hip.
Seems like you're the old one. No one
Okay,
says that.
listen. But I don't know how to explain it. She just doesn't want to be considered old at all, and this lady called her
Okay.
Mabel, so it just kind of stuck. And then my dad, several years ago, I think maybe I was like a freshman in high school, he grew a really big mustache. And I mean, it was huge, it was bulky, and I took a picture of him. It was like maybe, I think it was like Christmas Eve or something like that. I took a picture of him. And I was like, you have got to look at this picture, Dad. You look exactly like Paul Blart. I mean, I showed everybody in my family, and they were cracking up. If I still had that picture to this day, I would show everybody right now. But he looked exactly like him. My dad's like a tall, like bigger guy,
Yeah.
so it looked just like him, and he was bald. So it was
That's
so
hilarious.
funny. So it just kind of stuck to like everybody around us and
That's
everything.
so funny. And if our listeners hear a loud buzzing sound, it's the man outside the door with a weed eater. So our lawn's looking really good out front.
I'm not gonna even lie. I didn't even know your dad's name for the longest time because every time I'd come over, we would just call him. Her dad's a firefighter for reference, but we would just call him Firefighter Paul, like with that accent too. Like it had him in with that accent. Yep. So I was like, every time I had to say his name, I just drew a blank. I was like, oh my God.
Paul.
I just called him Firefighter Paul. Like I didn't call him his actual name until like this year.
Well, what's something weird about y'all's family?
Ooh.
Something weird. Well, not really weird, but like my family be cracking jokes.
Okay.
I ain't gonna like on my dad's side. That's where I get my sense of humor from, and like we are the funniest people to be around. This is coming from me.
Yeah.
And people that have been around my family, we are funny.
What makes y'all's family funny? Is it roasting each other, or is
sometimes
it's funny stories that they
it's
tell?
Just like
Okay.
It's just like the way we talk and everything. It's just funny. This is the things we say and the analogies we make. Yeah. It's just crazy.
That's funny.
Oh, this is hard because I have a very beige family. Like beige? My parents own their own company. Yeah, my parents are their own company, so they're out of town a lot and stuff. The only thing like I can think of, we haven't done this in like over 5 years, but whenever me and my sister were both like, she definitely had been in middle school. I was definitely in elementary school. Every Sunday, new episodes of The Simpsons would come out.
Oh, okay.
Me, my sister, and my dad would make cookies and just watch the new episode of The Simpsons. That's the only thing I can really remember. I mean, me and my dad, we butt heads a lot because we're the same people.
Okay.
But whenever you get us together and we start like going at somebody, we're funny. We're very funny people.
That's cool. Well, that leads me into my first question, Morgan. Who in your family do you either resemble the most physically, like you look a lot like them, or like there's a personality trait that is like you're basically the same person?
The answer for both is the same. My father. Not unfortunately, sorry, Dad.
That's messed up.
That's terrible. I resemble my dad a little too much. I look exactly like him. I talk exactly like him. I act exactly like him. Like he passed down all of his genes to me. Like nothing about my sister is like my dad. It's just it all went to me.
That's funny.
I guess I got my deep voice from him too because I have a pretty deep voice. He is covered in freckles and so am I. We're both pretty mean people. Like that's hard. We're both mean people. We both have anger issues. Like my parents own their own company, like I said previously. So every time I go to the office, all I hear is, "Oh, here comes Jeff Jr." Because I act exactly like my dad, and like
Jeff Jr.
My dad yells at a lot of people, and whenever I want something from one of them, I'll start bossing them around too. So we're both very bossy people. So I am definitely a copy and paste of my father.
Are there ever moments where it's like where you and dad come together and you're all like on the same side, like a unified force of like?
Oh God, yeah. My
teamwork?
mom, I'm sure she's suffering because my sister is away at college.
Okay.
So every time she calls my sister, she's like, you left me alone with the two Jeffs. Because whenever me and my dad are in an argument, which happens often since we do butt heads, whenever we're not in an argument, we are definitely a unified force. Especially against my mom. Whenever we want something, me and Jeff are going to get what we want.
Me and Jeff. I like how you call your dad Jeff. That's hilarious. Jeff Jr. and Jeff.
I know.
Oh, great.
Honestly, I don't really know who I look like. Morgan will probably have to say for herself because I think I look more like my mom, but I've also heard I look like my dad. I guess I'm just like an even blend.
Yeah.
I like whenever I was younger, like a little kid, I was definitely considered like the oddball of the family. My whole family, they all have brown hair, which this is not natural. I did it, but I had, white, like blonde hair. Like it was crazy. I didn't really, my face didn't resemble anybody. My dad has like bluish eyes and my mom has brown eyes and my sister has brown eyes and I have like green hazel eyes. So I just kind of like didn't really look like anybody for a while. And now that my hair is darker, I feel like I kind of resemble my mom. And me and my mom, like, we're pretty much the same person. We're not too much of the same person where we argue a lot. We really don't. We find a medium a lot when we do argue and we figure out an issue together because we think the same way and it's easy.
Yeah.
But
I can't tell who yours are. I'm pulling up a picture of your mom right now because I have one from prom. Me and Mandy took a photo together. I feel like if she looks like anybody, it's gonna be her mom. Definitely not her dad. But
That's
I
your
don't
mom?
think
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
think
you
she
like her mom.
resembles her mom as much as her sister does. Her sister,
My sister looks just like my mom,
okay.
and I can even tell you
acts
Copy
just
paste.
like her mom
Yes.
too.
Control. Alt.
Yes. They are so similar to each other.
Well, for me, with looks, I look like my dad. Like my dad's genes are mad strong. He had to be. Cause like I'm dark skinned, he's dark skinned. My mom, she's short. He's like tall. I don't understand like what happened if his genes were like bullying my mom's genes or something like that. And they just like, you know what, you can have this one. Cause like I feel like low key he just laid me on the egg for real. Like I couldn't be like I
Slapped
don't
you on
know.
there.
Real talk. But personality wise, that's my dad too.
Okay.
Cause even when I get my sense of humor from him, and even like sometimes I used to think my dad was low key harsh when it comes to telling like truths, but now I see myself doing the same thing. I was like, dang, he used to say that. Like that's mad true. I was like I be in arguments sometimes, and they be like, dang. Or like not even arguments, like debates, and I'll say something like, "Dang, Brandon, that's true, but that's low-key harsh." I'm like, I sound like my father.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to you on that one because my dad is a pretty mean fella. If you catch him at the wrong time or anything, I'm like, dang, like why does he act like that? Like why does he have to catch such an attitude with me? I did nothing to him.
I'm saying.
And now I see myself doing that to people who had literally nothing to do with the reason why I'm upset or I'm angry. I just see me snapping at them like my dad used to snap at me.
Hey, shout out to my dad and shout out to Morgan's dad.
Thank you guys.
Strong
And I
genes.
got my name from him because my name is Brandon. I'm Brandon Jr. He's
Okay, so you're
Brandon
currently
Sr.
Brandon Jr.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
And you're
I got
unofficially
Jeff Jr.
Unofficially Jeff Jr. That's funny.
Yeah.
So what's as a teenager? Because I feel like that's when like family becomes a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe complicated is the right word, but
Intense.
maybe there's another word. Because you're kind of coming into your own,
It's
right?
almost kind of like you become distant with your family.
Yeah. And what's some of the challenges that come from that? What are some of the maybe the good opportunities that come from that when you start becoming your own person, as it pertains to your family?
Sorry, you go ahead.
Okay. Being able to talk to your parents about certain, like that's one of the pros. Being able to talk to your parents about certain things, like what you're going through in life,
Yeah.
or something like that. Like they can share some of their experience with you, or like it's things like that. You can be like, "Dang, you're going through that. You're going through that. I used to go through that."
Yeah.
And like it gives you a lot of guidance through life.
Yeah, they can relate, like in some ways, to some of the stuff you're going through. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel like some of the worst ways is like when you first become a teenager, like I feel like it's kind of when you first get your license, you want to
Yeah.
rebel the absolute most. It's like you feel like you have endless freedom when you
Yeah.
really don't, and you don't fully understand that
I
yet.
can do anything.
Yeah, I can just go there.
If
It's
my
fine.
mom takes me, my
There
mom
you go.
drops me off.
But I don't know. I feel like you want to rebel. You want to do all the things that older people are doing, and you're not there yet. And different parents have different rules, and so it's like it's hard to find what you're happy with
Yeah.
and what your parents are happy with. So it just kind of I don't know. It kind of breaks it apart a little
Yeah.
bit. But I also feel like it's a good thing because you're figuring out what your personal boundaries are when you go and experience certain things. You determine like what you are okay with just experience life in general, like just experiencing things.
Yeah.
I can definitely also tap into what Carson said about wanting to be able to do what older people are able to do. Because my sister, like all I remember, me and her didn't get along up until like last 2 years. Like we just didn't even talk, forgot each other existed. But like all I remember of her since we didn't really start talking until that point is just like seeing her be able to leave the house whenever, like not have to really ask, being able to go wherever, whenever. But I also forget she was 18.
Yeah.
I just turned 17, but like I have a lot more opportunities than her to be able to go and do that stuff, but I used to try and act like I should have been able to
Yeah.
go and do that stuff. I catch myself where I'm like not home for like 3 nights in a row, and it definitely it's fun, but it definitely creates a lot of conflict between me and my parents because they expect me to work around their schedule,
Yeah.
which is hard because they're out of town a lot. But the second that they're in town, they're like, okay, I need you to drop everything and stay home. And one of my biggest arguments with them is like, what does it benefit you? Just me sitting in my room. Like that's all I do when I'm home is I just sit in my room.
Yeah.
Unless I'm talking to them, I'm up in my room. So I
Yeah.
don't get it.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the viewers can explain it to me, but I just don't get it.
If you're listening right now and you've heard the story that Morgan just said, and you have any insight, please write into. Send a letter to. We're not gonna put your address out there. Right? We don't want people to talk to you.
You can just. We have a comment section on YouTube
on
if you want to go
YouTube.
tap in there.
But yeah, it's so real to when you have different expectations, than your family, especially when you become a teenager, especially when you start driving, and you're like, hey, I want to go out and do something with my friends. They're like, oh, well, we were gonna do dinner together, or we were gonna go to a movie or something like that. Yeah. How often do you guys feel like it comes up to where it's like, we don't have much time together. If you think about, especially your senior, Carson.
Right.
How do you balance that? How do you balance, you're getting older, you're not going to be in the house much longer, and then I'm also still supposed to be connected with my family. How does that work out for you guys?
Personally, I'm still going to be here for 2 more years because I'm going to community first, but it's still, my mom texts me a lot more recently, too, about me graduating. I feel like it's that she's happy for me because she's proud of me, but it's kind of like an internal fear of, oh my God, she's leaving the house, she's not coming home. Because my sister, she's only doing community, so she's not going to anywhere else, and I plan on going somewhere else. So it's kind of like she's happy and excited for a new chapter in my life, but at the same time, she's a little skeptical because it's wow, she's really going to be living without us. That's crazy. But I try to be around her, whenever I am home. I tell my mom almost everything. So whenever I am around her, we talk about everything together, and I just feel like whenever that happens, that means a lot to her because it's those moments aren't going to be here forever. So it's just easier for her.
Yeah.
I definitely understand that. My dad likes to seem emotionless, but he shows his emotions through just anger. And I can tell that he's been getting like that a lot more recently because his argument, he'll tell my mom this stuff. He won't apologize to me, say a word to me about this type of stuff, but he'll tell it to my mom. My mom will relay the message back to me. But he knows that in less than a year, I will be leaving for college and I will be out of the house. I will be a couple hours away because as of right now, I am going to a college in South Carolina as far as I am planning to do so. But
your 5-year plan is showing up to
chalking down to being in South Carolina. But he is definitely feeling that I am leaving soon, and he just all builds it up into anger, and I can definitely tell that it's really affecting him lately. That he knows that I'm leaving and he doesn't really want me to, but he doesn't know how to be talk to me about
how to share that with you. Other than being Jeff. Which makes sense if his Jeff Jr. his mini-me is potentially leaving. He might be taking that hard.
He's gonna miss his mini-me.
Yeah. Who's gonna team up with
against Laura?
That's fine. Yeah. What about you, Brandon?
Well, I feel like the way I like to handle is spending as much time as I can with them, and God willing, I'll probably be able to do the same thing when I'm out in the world, grown, but I love hanging out with my family. We have our problems, but I love hanging out with my family. I just like to make sure they know I'm not gonna forget about them. Yeah. They raised me. Yeah. So
what's one thing that you guys wish your family would understand about your current stage in life or your current season in life that they might not be getting?
That I don't want to be home 24/7. It seems like I don't care about my family, and it seems like I don't want to be around them. But bottom line is, when I am around them, once we're done with our little 10-minute conversation, I'm up in my room. So I just feel like it's more benefiting towards me to get these experiences. Because whenever I'm out, I meet a bunch of different new people. Those different people give me different opportunities in life. If I didn't go out with Emma one night, I wouldn't have came to youth that same night. Wouldn't have met Just. I wouldn't be on this podcast right now. So sorry guys, I'm really stuffy. It gives me a lot of different opportunities. I get to meet a lot of new people. It's just why sit in your room when you can be out with your friends or get your grind on at the gym? Because those are the only 2 things I got going for me right now. I'm either at the gym with friends or at home or school.
Cool.
I feel like this relates a little bit more to other people. I have my issues here and there, but my parents are mostly understanding about this.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like this can be super relatable to seniors this year. But I wish my parents would understand that I am almost an adult. Like, I want the same opportunities that my sister was given when she turned 18. I know I'm not fully there yet, but when I am, I want the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, and I want to be able to plan things by myself. I want to be able to have dreams for my own and just have these plans for myself that I plan myself. Like, just kind of becoming an independent person without needing my parents all of the time. Not saying that I will never need their help again, because I know I will. I mean, I can't even cook. So I know I will. But yeah, I just wish that they would understand that. You know, sometimes I just want to do things by myself.
A little choked up over there, Brandon.
Yeah, nah. But
I see some tears. I know that.
Oh my God, Brandon, are you crying?
I know our
I know that was
listeners,
really
they
hard to
can't
hear,
see your
but-
face right now, but right now he's just sobbing.
Guys,
No,
you
I'm not.
have
He
to
thought that was the
believe
most
me.
beautiful thing I've ever said in his life.
You have to believe me. Brandon is like on hands and knees, like balled up in the
Bro,
corner
nah,
right now,
nah,
like
I'm up
crying.
now. Pass me the tissues real quick. Nah, one of the things I wish my parents like learned about me is like there's a lot of, I wish they would know, like, there's a lot of things going on right now. Like, that I'm learning about myself and, like, life in general. And, like, I'm learning.
Yeah.
And it's, like, some things I do know, some things I'm figuring out for myself, but it's, like, and it's a lot to handle. So, like, I wish, like, take that in consideration. I'm not saying they don't.
Yeah.
Because they do, but I'm just, like, a little more. You
Just
feel me?
understand a little bit more.
Yeah, like, you know, there's a lot of things going on. You feel me?
Yeah, for sure. Now, when it comes to your family, just kind of dynamics, I mean, how do siblings change that kind of stuff? How do, I mean, some families are real big, right? Like, and are close with, like, extended family members, like your aunts and your uncles, you know, and then, so you get that kind of weird perspective of, like, oh, we're all kind of the same. But then you start hanging out with other people's families, and it's like, oh, that family operates very differently. Like, when is it kind of for you, you know, when you kind of have that moment of like, oh, maybe the grass is greener, you know, on the other side, and then when has that shown up to be where it's like, oh man, I wish my family was like that, but then you realize what that family was actually going through, and you're like, oh, maybe I like my family the way it is now.
Yeah, I'm not close with my family whatsoever. I mean, like, me and my mom are super close. Me and my dad, like, get along. You know, me and Jeff. It's just me and Jeff. You know what I'm saying? And then me and my sister have definitely gotten a lot closer. She is more of an introvert, so whenever I like try to talk to my parents about like going out or like going to different places without like a parental supervision and stuff like that, they're a little bit more like not lenient towards it, just because like they never went through it with my sister, so they don't like haven't really adjusted to it yet. They definitely have calmed down a lot since Bailey has left the house with me, but besides that, they're a little bit more strict than other families are. I don't talk to my distant family besides my dad's parents, because they do live next door to me.
Oh, okay.
But besides anyone else in that family, like, I don't talk to them. Like, I mean, I have an aunt who lives in Australia.
Wow.
2 cousins who live in Australia. I've never met my cousins who live in Australia, actually. I've talked to my aunt a couple times over Skype with my mother, but it's also kind of hard to talk to her, too, since it is completely, like, a different time range there. So you have to line up the time, like, perfectly. Like, it has to be, I think, about 9 o'clock at night over here. My mom will Skype her, and it'll be about 6 in the morning over there. You can time it out a little bit good there. But, yeah.
Like, I would say probably the hardest thing about comparing siblings is it will always be different with how they raise you based on personalities and the way that each sibling thinks about certain situations. Like, my sister was the same way that Morgan's was. She was extremely introverted. She didn't really go out a lot. She was a homebody. She did not like to go out. I'm the complete opposite. I would love to be exploring the world, doing everything all at once. Like, I'm just one of those people. I love to do things all the time. And at first that was kind of a challenge for my parents, because they're not used to raising a kid who is so outgoing and so out there and just always wanting to do something. So it was a little hard, but as I grew up, I've always kind of been that way, so they've just kind of adjusted. And I would also say, like, it's hard when you compare your family to other families. Whenever I was younger, my parents were like dirt poor. So it was always a struggle because most of my friends growing up had lots of money.
Yeah.
So I was like, a lot of the time I was always thinking about like, I really wish I had that. And that was I feel bad looking back because that was a struggle with me and my mom, because whenever I would come home from those sleepovers, I would be so mad I had to come home because that's not the life I live. I don't get to come home to that. And I thought it was just so unfair. And it was hard to understand, but now that I'm older, I completely get it. And that was just a struggle time, and everybody has their struggle times.
Did you ever have a moment where you told them, your family, that? Or like, oh, I wish, we were that other family, and did your family ever have a response?
I don't think I said that out loud, but I knew I thought that, and I think they knew that too, because there was one girl in particular that I went over to her house maybe a couple times, and it was her. She had one of the biggest houses I've ever seen. She had lots and lots of money, and her parents just bought her everything, and it was just really hard coming back from that, because it was just, I don't know, it was just such a environment change. It was huge. And so I just had to stop hanging out with her, because it really affected the way that I saw my family, and affected the way I saw myself, and everything that I can have and that I don't. And it made me feel bad about myself and my family, and I can't be around somebody like that. Nothing against her, she was a great friend, but I couldn't do that to myself anymore.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. I had a similar situation. And it was my best friend. We didn't stop hanging out with each other, but I remember one time I came home, and my thing was video games, and especially with video games when the new console comes out, and we weren't gonna get those new consoles. So if the PlayStation 3 came out, I was I had the PlayStation 2. But my friend got the Wii, when it first came out, the very first one. It was this crazy new thing.
I remember those.
And it was it was so much fun. And I remember coming back home and be like, oh, Luke was his name. It's Luke's family is so cool. They give him a Wii and all this kind of stuff. Mom's she got so angry with me. She's like, we worked so hard for it. We had a straight up fight. And I was like, oh, I took it too far. I didn't realize, me saying that was going to hurt them so bad.
Right.
That's probably when I first realized that.
Because when you make a comment like that as a kid, you don't realize the repercussions. You don't realize you don't see what your parents are going through. You don't see behind the scenes and stuff like that. So whenever you say that to them, I'm sure it goes straight to the heart.
Yeah, it makes you feel bad.
I would have reacted the exact same way. I would have been like, you are so ungrateful, all this kind of,
Yeah, me too.
We just don't think about that until a lot of times when you see someone else's family.
Exactly.
What about you, Brandon?
Well, I feel like I've been to people's houses where I'll be like, dang, I would low-key wish my family was like this. But then I will have this epiphany, yo, if my family wasn't, there's nothing, I don't think there's nothing wrong with my family. Everybody has their problems, but my family perfect in my eyes. You feel me?
Yeah.
But if I didn't have the family I had, I wouldn't end up like the person I am.
It's true.
Yeah.
So, and I like the person I am.
Yeah.
Well, most part.
Yeah.
But
Depends.
Yeah.
You just got started, Brandon. You have plenty of person to make up for yourself. So.
Exactly. So, I'm glad. I like my family, so that's cool. How I really cope.
What's one thing that you guys will probably carry on into your own families in the future that your families do now, or how they kind of run now? And then what's one thing that you might put your own spin on?
I am actually super hyped to have my own family. Not even specifically with kids, because I'm not huge on kids. It's just me and my sister me and my sister just really don't like our extended family. We don't like the way that they act. We don't like the way that they present themselves with my dad's side. They just present themselves in such an odd way. They're just kind of trashy. And then
whisper.
I wonder if
then my mom's side, they're just we don't really like them. Enough said, we don't really like them. So me and my sister just always talk about we fantasize about that type of stuff. We're oh my God, we're gonna have Christmas and Thanksgiving at your house, and we're only inviting da 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 da. We've talked about it, and I'm actually super hyped to have my own family, to have a gorgeous house with a black kitchen. And on Christmas, go to my sister's house, have her family there, have my parents there, have my significant other there, and no losers invited. That's
borderline
losers not invited. Carson's invited.
Okay,
she's not a loser.
I'll be there.
She'll be there.
What about me?
She will. She has a whole family of her own. Brings them over.
I'll bring them all over.
Can I come?
Yeah,
All right,
you're invited
bet,
too,
bet,
bro.
bet.
He's not a loser either.
Caesar
Yeah,
too.
I
I know
Thanks,
you'll probably be
appreciate
way
it.
older.
I'm
Cause
gonna reach out to the group chat and be like, hey, what's Christmas look like this year?
I haven't texted in the group chat in like 15
I
years.
literally
Like,
went
hey,
to
Christmas
Morgan's house
comes
for
up.
How did
Thanksgiving
you-
this past year.
Yeah,
I
she
just
did
thought
come to
about
my
that.
house
I really
for
did do
Thanksgiving.
that. Yeah.
What
Oh,
was
I
it
went to
like?
her house for Easter.
Give us the picture of what it's like to be
Okay,
be over
so
there.
basically, I don't really know. This was actually my first time meeting like anybody from her like extended family except for the grandparents that live next door. But I'll just say a couple. I don't want to give names or anything. I felt very judged just for being there. I don't know how to explain it, but I did not enjoy their presence. Their presence.
She's eating all the turkey.
No,
She's
I was
Very
so
sophisticated
too much
people
mashed
to the
potato.
point where like you can feel they're very sophisticated to the point where like you can feel their wrath like
Oh, wow.
laying
I
down
feel
on
like
you.
I can't crack a joke, and that's like something I just do when I'm in a
Yeah.
company of people
When
like
you're around
that.
family,
So yeah, when
that's
I'm
your
around
family.
people, like I don't know. It just felt like I couldn't be myself, so I was just kind of sitting there awkwardly, like, working. What time can I go home? Like it was just kind of it was painfully awkward. So
That's funny.
yeah.
Her house on Easter.
Oh, we're
Oh,
not
so
even
you
going
went to her house on Easter. Y'all
Yes,
just
I
trade
did.
for
Yeah.
Actually,
for
I don't.
holidays?
If I'm not at home, if I don't have a friend at my house for a holiday, I'm usually with a friend at another
That's
house.
cool. That's cool.
Besides Christmas, I gotta be home for Christmas,
Yeah.
of course, because Jeff is all about family.
How dare he?
How dare you?
How dare he want to spend Christmas with his own family?
I know,
terrible is that?
but there's a lot of different people at Carson's family. I didn't really talk to any of them. but
My house is pretty packed when
it
it
was
comes
very
to family.
packed.
But there's some characters. I tried not to introduce Morgan to too many of them because I know how open Morgan is about how she feels about people. So I left
funny.
them an open book. I
You
was
gave
just
her
like,
the good
you know,
ones,
yeah.
so she wouldn't be so
I just let her
honest.
meet every.
She let me write
cool
my own
people.
story about them. Don't know anything
We'll do
about
another
them.
episode. We'll do a spin-off episode where we do holiday recaps with you guys.
Like story
Oh
time.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
story
could definitely do that. Yeah.
That's fun. But yeah, what are some things that you guys would add to your family that
Ooh.
your family already does, and you would just bring it over, or what's one thing that you would kind of tweak and remix a little?
Well, one thing I would probably bring over to my family is like the talks. Like sometimes we'll like have these talks about like it could be anything about like religion, why we do certain family traditions, like or anything. I'll probably bring that over. One thing I would tweak. Can I keep it real?
Yeah.
Like, can I keep it totally real?
For sure.
Yeah.
One thing I would tweak. I probably would not do Thanksgiving anymore.
No more Thanksgiving.
I was researching. I was like, all right, people always be talking about Thanksgiving, and then I think back to the history. You know,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving was taught to the kids. Can I keep it real?
Yes,
Go
please do.
ahead.
The pilgrims came over and they saw the Indians. They was like, oh, let's have this big feast. That's basically how it went.
No, that's so messed
So
up.
I watched the video, and can I keep it real, man? One more time.
Yeah.
Go
That's
ahead.
not what happened. That's far from what happened. Yeah, the pilgrims were not that nice to the Native Americans. And then I got to thinking, I was like, as a person of color myself, I wonder how it feels for a Native American to watch
Just
a
Thanksgiving going on every
a
year.
black family, family of people that have been
Dude,
like
for real.
treated badly in America, racism and all that.
Yeah.
Celebrate basically the murdering of like a lot of their people. I'm like, I can't do that no more.
Yeah.
I can actually give you like a little bit of insight on that. So my grandpa, he's like, I think he's half Native American. Like he had both of his, well, no, he's full because both of his parents were Native American. The only reason he continues to celebrate it is just in memory of the ones who were killed, pretty much.
Wow.
So he'd actually
Like
still
a
celebrate
memorial
it. Yeah.
type of thing,
It's-
not like
yeah.
a celebrating.
It looks the same as how everybody else celebrates it.
Yeah.
Food, gathered around with family, but it's just
But the feelings
because
are different.
it's a different
Wow.
vibe to it. It's not because he's it's not because you just want to spend time with family. It's for the lives that were
Wow.
lost.
And do you guys
so.
still like hold on to that whenever y'all gather for Thanksgiving, or is that kind of not a thing?
My family, so whenever we celebrate most holidays, it's usually, so this is the grandpa that's on my mom's side. We usually
Okay.
celebrate with my dad's side of the family. So we don't normally celebrate with my grandpa, but him and his twin sister celebrate together because they're both obviously full Native American. So they do that
Wow.
on their own because they're full. So
Wow.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. But like, just like I started low-key getting mad. I was like, imagine if they did that to us. Like there was a holiday they made up about like slavery and made up a whole lie about it. Well, and we saw Native American, like I'm pretty sure we would feel some type of way about
Like the
it.
holiday
Like,
about the
and I feel like
3/5 thing.
I was telling some people this. They was like, well, all this and all this, we like spend time with our family. Like, you shouldn't use Thanksgiving as an excuse to spend time with your family. Like, if you want to get together, make a big meal, just do it.
Just do it.
Like, get with everybody. You don't got to be on Thanksgiving, which celebrates the murder.
Yeah.
Or,
So would you do a different thing on that same weekend? Because like,
yeah,
I
probably
imagine
to make
that
up.
we would still get school off and stuff like that.
Yeah, to make up for all of it. Or like on
would call
Juneteenth,
it-
we could all get together.
What would you
or,
call your new Thanksgiving?
Dang. I feel like this is I should take advantage of this moment. Make a funny name for it.
Come on, man, you got a quick thing.
Dang, I don't know.
Well,
We
you
don't
got
play
time.
that.
You don't have a family yet.
Yeah.
Till start
We're going to call it We Don't Play That Day.
We don't play that.
We don't play that. Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, stop out there at the door.
We don't play that.
We do not play that over here. We do
Still on
not
Thursday?
play.
Still happen on
Exactly. We do not play that.
That's so funny.
That's funny. We don't play that day. Let's all have a petition and send it to our
Exactly.
senator for We Don't Play That Day.
Instead of Thanksgiving.
Exactly. And
Exactly.
stop telling our kids
Yeah.
that these people, they just all, oh, what's up, dude? Let's get this turkey.
I mean, y'all
So what?
can be
Yeah.
that
So what are
mad.
you gonna eat at We Don't Play That Day? What happens if we don't play that
I
day?
ain't gonna lie, Thanksgiving food be
Okay.
hitting. We gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna
It's
keep it
gonna
a
be the same
buck.
food, but
Exactly,
just
same
different
food, but
celebration.
if
I'm
you
not gonna
say-
even lie, I don't really like Thanksgiving food.
Wow.
What?
It's
What's your
more
least favorite
it's like
Thanksgiving
soul
food?
and I don't like soul food.
What?
I like soul food. It's
Bro, the
not-
macaroni
You're
and cheese.
crushing it.
Okay, mac and
Crushing
cheese
him
is
over here.
different.
Mashed
I'll eat mac and
potatoes,
cheese,
ham,
green
turkey.
bean casserole, mashed potatoes. That's about it. The rolls too. I don't like turkey. I hate sweet potatoes. Hate is a
Yeah, I
strong
hate
word,
sweet
and I will use it with
If you
sweet
come
potatoes.
over, if you come over to my house when we're cooking, we're gonna change your opinion. I promise you.
Brussels sprouts are gross.
Well, Morgan
no one
goes
likes
over to
Brussels
people's
sprouts.
houses, on the holidays, just not
Yeah,
Christmas.
you could talk
so
about how
you-
good
you
the
should-
food was
you
on our
should go
next
to
on our
your
next
house
podcast
for
after.
Thanksgiving.
I don't know. My dad's the same thing with Thanksgiving too.
Oh, so
Maybe
those are his
maybe
two
you make me a
holidays.
plate.
Just show up
I'll go
like, here, I
pick it
made you a
up.
plate. Like a little deal going on.
And I'm not afraid to be that person. Like I told my mom this, and she was like, "Yeah, we should probably start doing that." You know, my grandma who passed away in summer of 2020, she used to like bring everybody. She was the grandma to bring everybody together. And Thanksgiving, my mom was like, "Well, she still celebrates the in the memory of her." But she's like, "Yeah, you right, cause it shouldn't be." Like we should just bring the family together.
Yeah.
You feel me? We shouldn't, like I
Feel
said,
forced.
we shouldn't use that as an excuse anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we don't play that day.
Yeah,
Happened
we
in
don't play that
2020
day.
What were you? 2022.
2022, we don't play that
We don't
day.
play that
Coming
day.
soon to you.
We're still eating Thanksgiving food, but
Check your new and updated calendars.
Yes.
And I will be
You
at the
better add
Thanksgiving table.
Hey.
I will bring it up. Like, hey, you guys know what actually happened on Thanksgiving?
a
Murder
Does your
conversation.
family
a
like it when
lot.
you do that? Are they like, yes, Brandon, please tell us? Or they're like, oh,
They're
here
probably,
goes-
some
here
of them are
goes
probably gonna be
Brandon.
like, yo, you right. Some of them probably gonna be like, I'm not coming back.
Here he comes.
No,
like, well,
that's gonna happen.
that's it,
If
it's
I
what
try
happens.
to do that with my family, they'd be like, "Well, actually," and then like just start going on a whole rant
I'm gonna
about
have facts
how
ready
I'm
too.
wrong.
I'm gonna have my phone ready on the most protected site. This is gonna be the most official
family
site ever.
conflict.
Look, you see this picture? Yep. Actually, brought my Native American friend. Look, how about you? How about you? Go get your food, and he's gonna sit beside you as you eat it and tell people how Thanksgiving. How about that? As he stares at you,
Like that camera show, like there's a camera there, and set on that. Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
There's
This
a
is
Native
reality
American
TV
there,
stuff, yeah.
there,
exactly.
and there.
See how
How you feel
comfortable
now?
you are.
This is definitely reality TV stuff. We don't play that day. 2020.
We do not play that day.
That's hilarious.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
You get it? It's like a spinoff. Like we do not play that day. Like we don't play Thanksgiving that day.
Nope.
You get it? We do not play that day. Yeah.
You can make a spin-off play about that too, because you know how people do Thanksgiving plays and
Yeah.
say we don't
Exactly.
play.
We don't play that.
Yeah.
That's not what happened. We're gonna start it off at like, oh, this is Thanksgiving. Oh, they all came together at this big
And then
site.
there's like
Yeah.
a screech
We
of like a
live.
record.
Exactly.
then you
Kids,
walk
this is
in-
about to get graphic. Please
You
leave.
walk slowly in with a suit and tie, like, let me explain
Let
you
me
the
explain
history.
something, y'all. This is about to get really graphic, so probably get your kids to leave. They
That's
should, but
funny.
they should know though.
Well, that's cool. Well, great. Well, this was a fun episode. We invented a new holiday as we
play
talked
that
about our
day.
family. We talked about Jeff. We got
Jeff
to
Jr.
we got to
Jeff
know
Jr.
Jeff
on the
and
podcast.
Jeff Jr.
That should feel
We saw
honored.
a picture of, just we got a really great picture of all y'all's families. Like, it's really cool just to get a glimpse into, what it's like on the other side.
It's like seeing a glimpse into everybody else's
For
Life.
sure.
everyday life. Yeah.
For sure. Our families are really telling the kind of
Yeah.
people we are.
Yeah.
And so yeah. So I think that's why it's always good to expose yourself to other people's families, like to have moments where you're like, okay, this makes me appreciate my family a little bit more. Or, oh, this is kind of cool. This is kind of cool that families can do things differently.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, thanks everyone listening to the podcast today. That was a fun episode. Be back soon. We got this crew getting together to do some of their own episodes, so be on the lookout for that. We have some great topics coming up where this crew and some other people are going to get together and talk about just all the ladies together in a particular episode. We're going to talk about racism in one episode.
Oh, and we got a surprise episode coming up for y'all, which
Yes.
Jeff Jr. will be hosting. Thank you.
Jeff Jr.
Tune
aka
in.
Morgan. How's that gonna work? How should they be on the lookout for that secret episode?
Well, I'm putting together the plans, doing the preparing on this coming Sunday, and then hopefully by next week, our next recording, I will be able to do that surprise episode.
That'll be fun.
But I don't know
to
if
Lake
we're gonna.
Forest Youth.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna name it the actual name, or if we're just gonna put a bunch of question marks on the episode, and you're just gonna have to figure out what it is.
Mystery
I mean,
episode.
but
Oh, cool. That's gonna be fun.
you'll
I mean-
figure it out when you hear my voice come on the mic. Be like, "Hey guys, what's up today? My name's Morgan. I'm hosting today's episode." You know what I'm saying?
Are
like,
you gonna do
whenever
that
you hear my
part that
voice,
you did at
that's
the
when you
beginning
know.
of this one?
What?
That part that you did at the beginning of this one.
Yeah,
you're
you
gonna
could just do that
Rough.
again. That could be
Oh,
like your
okay,
signature
okay,
thing.
okay. I won't do that in any other episodes.
No
The
more
surprise episode, I will go. "Rah." And that's how y'all know.
That's how we know it's the surprise episode.
There we go.
Great. Well, I'm excited for you guys to take on this In Between podcast show. It's going to be great. These episodes are going to happen, and they're going to be awesome. So thanks for listening. Come back next time with some new hosts and some new guests, and we'll see you guys soon.
Peace.
Bye.